So, I did retire from YouTube, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to do videos, like for the little Facebook here. I was at an anime convention recently, mainly because a couple of friends of mine thought it would be a good idea to get me out of the house so I'm not sitting around sulking and being depressed, even though, you know, in light of recent news, it is understandable. But they did want to get me out of the house, and I went, as I said, to a local anime convention, and while I was there, I picked up these. I've got a Gundam Zeong, which is a type of Gundam unit, and I got myself a Mechagodzilla 3, which is actually my favorite version of Mechagodzilla. And I'm going to unbox them here to see if they were worth the $5 a piece that I paid for them. So, I've got my unboxer here, and I'm going to be careful doing this. They are authentically from Japan. I was able to verify that much. Because I looked up different comparisons of them online, seeing if they were ever commercially, these particular models were ever commercially released in the States, and no, they weren't. And I'm being careful the way I open this here, because I just don't want to tear the top of the box off, because they are quite collectible. They're not like a gachapon, if you know what that is, a gachapon. Basically, in Japan, a gachapon is, you ever gone to like the grocery store and you see those little bubblegum machines? Where they, there you go. Where they have the, you know, the little ball and then there's a toy inside or something. That's basically a big thing in Japan, where you can get actually a pretty badass little bottle kit in a little ball or a little bubble for like about $1. Or if you want to spend more than that, you get a more elaborate model. Sometimes you can get ones that are like this, you know, out of a vending machine, because vending is a huge thing in Japan. So far we've got this one open. I'm going to check it out now, as I fold the box open so I can pull it out. And wow, he's a little smaller than I expected him to be. Alright. Take the tape off the plastic here. In fact, he's actually so small that I could totally repaint this thing because it seems a little unpainted. But as I take him out of the plastic, I realize he's actually rather articulated. He's got movable, somewhat movable arms. He's got movable legs to an extent. They seem, no, the legs are molded to the body. So he's got movable arms. And it looks like a, no, he doesn't have a turnable head, but he's got movable arms and a movable tail for whatever reason. And he's pretty well painted. I actually loved this particular interpretation of Mechagodzilla. The first two that came out in the older movies were too goofy. He had, okay, he does turn at his waist here a little bit too. But in the original Mechagodzilla films, he had like a drill hand on one of his hands, and then after a while, he just looked too much like a Jet Jaguar style robot, or one of the Jet style robots from like very classic mecha, or even like Super Sentai influenced. So when they got to about the early 2000s with a movie called Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla or something like that, I think it came out in about 2002, they overhauled him and gave him more of a Gundam-esque design, I would say. It's more influenced by a more modern mecha, a lot more harder edges. He's covered in guns. The one thing I liked about this particular Mechagodzilla is he's got these two big-ass rocket launcher salvos on his shoulders here. He's got a couple more on his arms, and if you watch the movie that this one was featured in, the chest piece actually opened up and he had a freezing weapon in his chest. So it would like hit somebody with a huge amount of liquid nitrogen and freeze them, and then he would pound his tail on the ground and it would just crack him. Like in the movie they showed it doing that to a building and just cracking a building like a fucking ice cube, like a skyscraper. It was amazing. And I just generally love the idea that too this particular Mechagodzilla was quite influenced by Evangelion, and the reason I say that is in the movie's storyline, the Mechagodzilla was built around the bones and DNA structure of the first Godzilla, the 1954 Godzilla. These movies were kind of uncanonized because it was like the majority of Godzilla films that had come out after the first one didn't happen. It was like sort of in its own personal universe. But they built the structure of the robot around the original bones and around the original DNA structure and it would have berserk moments that were kind of like akin to what happens to Ava Unit 1 in Evangelion, basically, where it goes berserk and does its own thing. Well, that's what this thing does in the first movie it's featured in. It kind of goes rogue and does its own thing and beats the shit out of everything around it for a while. And I really liked that kind of homage, really. I thought it was very blatant. If you knew what to look for, it was incredibly blatant, and I liked that homage. But this is actually pretty cool. It was I would say that this is from an import from Japan. It was $5 that were actually not wasted. So, yeah, he'll chill out. Probably put him back in the box for all I know. Either that or he'll chill out on my desk. He's even got like little prints on his feet here. You know, he's actually ridiculously detailed. I just kind of, the only thing I really wish is that they would have painted in some sections on him a little more. They kind of like just really made this in a hurry, even though they put a lot of little small fine details on it. Anyway, I got a Facebook message. And I will respond to it in due time, because I'm going to do that and you're going to watch. Whee! Okay, there's that. Move him out of the way. Move this out of the way. And then I got the other one, which is a custom Zeong Gundam. Now this Gundam, before I even take it out of the box, I always thought was kind of cool. For anybody that's a Gundam fan of the original show, even Gundam Wing, this one is really cool because it can actually separate from the legs here and basically just be a flying, like, sort of levitating Gundam platform. And it doesn't really have many guns as such. Its main weapons are actually in the fingers of the robot, basically. It's like fingers are like laser weapons. If any of you have like Gundam, like Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 or 3, I forget which one it was, I think it was 3, you actually get this particular Gundam in there. And he casts his hand out like kind of like he's a wizard or something like that. And he has all these lasers just like shoot out of his fingertips. He can like fucking annihilate like fields of robots. And as I look at the box right here, I actually find that this actually is, if you even can see that, it's probably because it's too blurry, but it says right here, Gashapon. So this actually is a legit Gashapon figure, which is something that I'm very much a fan of. I like those little figures. I've got, so far, 2 Evangelion units that are Gashapon. And I think they're awesome. Okay. Almost got the lid on the box there. And I got a lot of cardboard all over my desk. Come on. Get out of there. There you go. It's one of those weird boxes where it's like they kind of expect you to like destroy the box on trying to open it. So, right, okay, this one you've got to put together. So this is like a straight up model kit. Okay, so he's going to be relatively large. Alright, well, then I guess I'm going to have to make another video when I assemble this. But basically, he comes in a little model package like this. And you can see all the parts needed to put him together there. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the little unboxing of the Godzilla. And then I'm going to do another video when I finish putting this motherfucker together. Anyway, until then, take it easy. Because I totally did not expect this to actually be a model. And wow, there's actually shit written on the inside of this box too, which is interesting. Okay, well, whatever. I'll be right back-ish.